NASCAR Busch Series at Dover is brought to you by Vizio, making HD TV a possibility for everyone. Vizio, where vision meets value. And by Castrol GTX High Mileage, superior oil burn-off protection for cars over 75,000 miles. And Aaron's, with over 1,400 stores nationwide. Everyone is a lucky dog at Aaron's. ESPN's coverage of the NASCAR Busch Series comes your way from Dover, Delaware. Count the Monster Mile among the landmarks here in the nation's first state. Dover International Speedway, just up the road from Dover Air Force Base, one of the largest and busiest freight terminals in the world. It's fitting that we have a patriotic feel and a special command from overseas.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Jim Begley, Commander of the Delaware National Guard's 198th Signal Battalion in Baghdad, Iraq. We thank you for all your continued support, and we especially thank you for the privilege of saying, "Gentlemen, start your engines!"
Crank them up. Man says fired up. Okay, engine start up. Everything is good. Switches on. Roll, red roll.
Drivers and cars about to take a beating. 200 miles of sheer concrete and G-forces that will test their limits. Let's hand it off to the men who will call it: Andy Petrie, Dale Jarrett, and Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you, Susie. Great to have you as a member of our NASCAR on ESPN team. Welcome here to the team. And guys, historically over the years, the Monster Mile has provided drivers with two very comfortable grooves to race in, but that has not necessarily been the case this weekend. DJ, you just came off the track moments ago in the final Cup practice, and why the issues here with the second groove?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that we have a harder left side tire than what we've had here in the past, and so it's made it difficult to get rubber down on the racetrack. It used to be a lot blacker than what we see right here right now by this time, after a truck race and all the practice and everything that's taken place this weekend. But it's starting to come in now. I saw a lot of guys in the last Cup practice be a lot higher on the racetrack, and so they're working that in. I think that we'll see at least two grooves here today, if not three.
Andy, you talked to a lot of crew chiefs. Why the problems with the grip here throughout the weekend on all different series?
Well, all the grip that you get is caused by the tire, created by the tire. And if you were a Busch crew chief in practice yesterday watching that tire wear, it was enough to scare you to death, because these tires were wearing out in about 20 laps. But like Dale said, it's gotten a little bit better, and now watching this the track change, and I believe these crew chiefs will be a little more comfortable with going, 50, 60, 70 laps on a set of tires to start with.
And it's been somewhat of a scary weekend already here at the Monster Mile, trying to find a place to race and grip on the high groove. When we come back, we'll talk to our in-race reporter, Casey Mears, driver of the National Guard Chevrolet, and we'll be watching one of his crew members, Brian Halen, the front tire changer, throughout the afternoon here. Stay with us. Getting set for 200 miles of NASCAR Busch Series action here at the Monster Mile. The cars are rolling off. It is stop number 14 of 35 on the $50 million NASCAR Busch Series Tour for 2007. You take a look at our ticker across the top of your screen. Starting grid, Denny Hamlin picking up his third pole in the last 4 races, and Scott Wimmer will start on the outside of the front row for the second consecutive week. We will talk to our in-race reporter, driver of the National Guard Chevrolet, Casey Mears, who starts back in ninth spot.
Casey Mears, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, 10-4, got you.
Casey, you were just out in that last Cup practice. How much has the track changed by what you can tell from your final practice in this car yesterday?
Well, the track's really starting to rubber up. I think I bet he was doing short runs in practice, last couple of days, and wasn't really getting any rubber down the track there at the end of that last practice. The guys did some long runs. Finally got some rubber down, and hopefully help these tires last a little bit longer.
All right, Casey, by the way, congratulations on the victory last week. But up until that point in time, you were having more success in the Busch Series. What is it going to take now that you've got that win in the Cup Series? What is it going to take to get a win in this Busch Grand National Series?
Well, this National Guard car, man, has been running good week in, week out. Real proud of these guys bringing a good race car to the track every week. You know, run a top 5. We just got to, put a full race together. Hopefully not have any issues today. And we got a good, clean race. We got a good race car. I think we can run up front. So we'll see what we can give today.
All right, we'll be watching. Good luck.
10-4, thank you.
All right, we'll also be visiting with Casey's crew chief, Chad Walter.
Hey, Chad, Andy Petrie in the booth. You got a copy?
400 first. I was right around 4,000 second.
That's a little bit high. Yeah, Andy, I got you, buddy.
Hey, Chad, sorry to step on you guys trying to get your pit road speed, but, you know, NASCAR gave you guys 6 sets of tires. How are you going to manage those things today?
Yeah, well, we had just a little bit of a issue with a lot of teams had issues, blistered right rear tires, cording them. And usually Goodyear doesn't give you an extra set in this series unless you need them, so we started managing them yesterday. We just scuffed everything we had, and Casey's feeling pretty good about his 58 Infantry National Guard Chevy, so we'll see what we can do with them. It just all kind of depends on when the first caution comes out, Andy, to answer your question.
10-4, Chad. You guys have a good race. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, and including Casey Mears, we will have 8 high-definition onboard cameras we'll be riding along with today. Mike Wallace starts 18th in the Geico Chevy. Kevin Conway, 23rd in the Z-Line Designs QVC Chevy. Casey Mears, we just heard from. David Gilliland, 31st. The FreeCreditReport.com Ford. The Holiday Inn Chevrolet. Jeff Burton starts back in 15th spot. Jason Leffler's Great Clips Toyota, the 27th. And there's a Carl Edwards, starts 8th in the Dish Network Ford. And, of course, the Aaron's Toyota for David Rudeman starts back in 35th position. DJ, we're rolling the green flag on a very difficult high-banked 1-mile oval. What's going through a driver's mind right now?
I think right now they're just thinking about getting their tires up to temperature and how hard these tires are for this racetrack, and just trying to settle into a groove right now. You know, it's going to be important that they just get into their rhythm and know what their race car is going to do here at the beginning.
All right, field of 43 cars. NASCAR's Busch Series finest behind the pace car at 45 miles an hour. They're getting set to attack the Monster Mile here in Dover, Delaware. As they head to the green flag, let's listen in as we go full throttle.
Engineer, let your temperature in you. The thing coming up to 200 laps. All right, man, nice and easy here. Okay, cars off. Be ready. You start the race. Be ready. Cars off. Get up in there. Be ready. 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 There you go. You're clear. You're clear. 1.5 laps. Right in the middle. In the middle. Go ahead up. Go middle. Go middle. Clear. Outside.
And Denny Hamlin will lead the first time by. Denny Hamlin, who had that great qualifying effort in his Joe Gibbs Chevrolet, leads him down. Scott Wimmer is second. Good run early on. Dave Blaney showing the muscle in the Toyota back in 3rd spot.
I'll tell you what, that was good to see a good clean start, because you're always nervous standing on pit road at Dover waiting on this start, because sometimes one of those guys up front makes a mistake, everybody can get in it. But we had a nice clean start.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. It just takes a little bit of a slip to create a big problem. We saw that happen in the truck race yesterday, and it doesn't take much at all. But we see a pass here by Casey Kane, who's already headed to the high side a little bit, going around Ward Burton.
Well, a moment ago, just as we were bragging about how clean the start was, the 88 car, the Navy Chevrolet for Shane Huffman, had a little contact with the concrete coming off of turn 2. See the damage on the right side of his Chevy?
Yeah, he's got some damage on the right side. It looks like the exhaust pipes may be knocked loose too there. He's got something dangling from the right side.
So we can show you what happened here. Lap 2 in turn 2. Watch the 88 car.
Well, you can see that softball given when he hit that.
Yeah, good place to hit it if you've got to hit it is get on that and not hit the concrete. But he just got up out of the groove, and there's just no grip up there right now. They're going to have to get some temperature in the tires, and just not the place to be right yet. So at least he got away with minimal damage there.
Yeah, that's where all the dust is from these tires. It goes up high, and it just makes it so slick up there.
Here's the battle for 8th position as Casey Mears challenging David Reagan, and will take the spot away. As you heard, Mears coming off that runner-up finish at Charlotte in the Busch Series with that great Nextel Cup victory. His very first win in Nextel Cup competition, coming at Lowe's Motor Speedway in its 156th career start.
And there's nothing like a win to give a driver some confidence. And then you come to a racetrack. I think Casey likes this racetrack and it's fun to race on. So, you know, he's sitting on cloud 9 right now.
Yeah, I could see him walking a couple inches taller in the garage area this week.
And how cool was it? We had a Mears winning on Memorial Day weekend after Rick Mears won 4 Indy 500s. And by the way, Uncle Rick did call him after he finished victory lane and got back to his motorhome. He called him to congratulate him, and he said that was probably the coolest part of the day, hearing from Uncle Rick, who congratulated me on a major victory.
Yeah, that's pretty special to have someone like that in your family has had so much success, but to give you that call. And that was a great weekend for Casey. See, Jeff Burton, we knew that he didn't get in the qualifying lap that he wanted, but we knew he wouldn't hang around in that position very long. You can see he's on the bottom. But you can see just how difficult it is when you try to make that pass on the inside. If you don't go on and make it and don't clear that car, you have to get out of the throttle a little bit, and that allows the car from behind to get a run. And as we saw Matt Kenseth take that spot away from Jeff Burton.
That's some great racing. And I'll tell you, Brent Sherman looking really strong early in the race, holding off some really great race car drivers right there.
Yeah, and that's a good place for him to learn. And, that's what he's here for, is to learn and get some laps in. But he's doing a terrific job right now.
And with more on Jeff Burton, let's check in with Dave.
And, Doc, the issues that Jeff has been having did not qualify extremely well with that car this weekend. Have been bottoming out in turns 3 and 4. The car would get in there. The front of the car would just hit the track and upset the car. They've been working to raise the nose and adjust that. No report yet on that Jeff's having any trouble with that, but that's what they've been fighting for most of the weekend.
Yeah, I found that same problem in the last practice session, that it's gotten a lot rougher getting down into turn 3 than what it used to be. And you've really got to stay out wide. And even staying out wide, it seems like the left front goes over that. And I was having problems there myself, so I understand what Jeff's talking about. You don't really want to raise your car up, do you, Andy? But sometimes that's what you have to do.
No, you really don't want to raise the front of the car up, especially because it just kills your downforce and everything else. But, you cannot hit the racetrack going in, because if you do that, it makes the car shoot right up the track. Oh, we got Brent Sherman in the wall.
Yeah, after that great qualifying effort in the Big Lots Chevy, Brent Sherman, that was running in 14th position, has issues.
Buddy. Good job saving it.
Well, he didn't save all of it.
We saw Brent, as we were talking about him, doing a good job there. He was not on the bottom of the track. He was up a lane, and so you get in that position, the car starts to get away from you a little bit. We'll see what happens here.
Well, it looks like Matt may have slid up into him just a little bit and ran him out of room.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily Brent's fault there. He was doing what he needed to do.
Can't say that's Brent's fault.
Yeah, Brent had been running solidly in 14th position, holding off Matt Kenseth and company behind him, and he just couldn't quite hang on there as he got sort of shoved up out of the groove, and Kenseth and Jeff Burton and company go by.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a rookie or don't have much experience you have at Dover. If you get put in that situation, most of the time you're going to lose out in trying to get out of that position. That's very unfortunate for Brent, because it looked like he had a good car.
Well, the lucky dog, the Aaron's Lucky Dog free pass goes to the 28 car. Robert Richardson, who will, as the first car lap down, will get back on the lead lap. As we are under yellow for the first time today, that incident there, Sherman taps the outside wall. Back in a moment.
All right, gang, farm up.
Just pushing water like crazy, bud.
Do not get into a fighting match with any race car tonight.
I got the fence pretty good. I get the wall. The car's just on pins and needles, man.
That'll be ridiculous.
I understand. We're going to the back. Do something different.
48 crash.
Trouble coming off of turn 4. Kurt Busch goes around. And Casey Kane is a winner.
Hey, everybody did a great job. You guys are awesome.
The drama of NASCAR Busch Series Memorial Day weekend out in Charlotte, North Carolina. Take a look at our leaders here after 14 laps. Pole sitter Denny Hamlin right where he started, as is Scott Wimmer, Dave Blaney, and the rookie Marcus Ambrose, and points leader Carl Edwards in the top 5. And there's a look at the 9 car. What a run by Casey Kane, all the way from 32nd starting spot to pick up his 6th career victory, becoming the 9th different winner in 2007 with that performance at Lowe's Motor Speedway last Saturday night.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'll tell you what, it's good to see Casey getting back into that groove again. Where we're used to seeing him up front.
Yeah, he's a fun racer to watch. I think that's the biggest thing is he searches around and finds the groove. Casey's a driver that likes to be in the throttle a lot. I mean, all of us drivers like to be that, but he uses the throttle. He doesn't just jump out of the throttle. He rolls out of the throttle, but then he likes to pick it back up early, and that helps him to carry a lot of speed out of the corner. And this is a tight track that can really benefit you.
One thing I like about watching Casey too is he uses the whole racetrack. He figures they got this big racetrack, you might as well use it all, and he'll go up there and he'll go right next to the wall if he has to find the groove.
No extra charge for using all the concrete. No. Casey Kane, by the way, is driving the same car he used to win at Lowe's Motor Speedway last Saturday night. He qualified 12th today and has now moved up to 11th position in the first 15 laps. If you just joined our coverage, we are under yellow for the first time today. Coming on lap 11, contact Brent Sherman and the 36 car in the wall. As Denny Hamlin will lead him down, we will get set to go green flag again here at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware.
These restarts and going through turns 1 and 2 here are always exciting because you have to go really so fast. You drive down in the corner, you're out of the gas just very little, and you better be back in it because there's going to be somebody that is, and you'll get run over if you're not careful. Denny Hamlin got a great start there.
It looks like you can almost run wide open on the restart when you come down through there and you jump in the corner on a restart. You don't have all that speed to go down in one. It looks like you can almost stay wide open.
A little bit of contact there as Carl Edwards trying to get underneath the 59 of Marcus Ambrose, with more on Marcus Allen.
Doc, just before Marcus Ambrose got into the race car, I talked with him about how they had a great third-place qualifying run because their car really wasn't all that great in practice yesterday. He said, Mark Martin was driving my teammate's car, the 47. We took what he did to fix their car and put it in ours, so I have to thank Mark Martin for that.
Yeah, I'd listen to Mark Martin, too, if it were me. He's won quite a few races around here.
Yeah, and having a driver like Mark Martin drive your race car, first thing is he's going to drive it fast, but the other thing is he's going to tell you a lot of things that you might not know about it, and that's what's so good about having a veteran like that drive your race car.
Yeah, Mark Martin subbing for John Wood in that 47 car, opted because he had to run the truck race last night and the Cup race tomorrow, not to drive the Busch car today. They put Travis Quapple in it, who did a great job qualifying it, never having sat in the car until it was time to qualify. Marcus Ambrose, the beneficiary of Mark Martin driving that car and helping him with the setup.
Yeah, he lost a couple of spots there, but he's got himself back in a position now that he can get back in his rhythm. He's not worried about somebody trying to pass him necessarily. He's got Regan Smith right behind him, but it looks like he's back into his rhythm. We see Casey Kane down on the bottom and David Reagan up at the top here, which is kind of unusual. It's kind of role reversal there. But Casey, as you said, he's going to find where his race car goes fast.
Yeah, he doesn't care whether it's top or bottom. He's going to look for it. But I really like what we're seeing with both these grooves coming in pretty nicely.
Yeah, that does a lot to enhance the racing here if you can have that, because you can get guys that make their car go around the bottom, and obviously that's the shortest way around. But if you can carry a lot of momentum around the outside, keep your RPMs up, then you can make a lot of straightaway speed. So that gives you a lot of different avenues.
It looks to me like it'd be more fun to be able to run up right next to the wall.
Oh, it'd absolutely be more fun. We see Jeff Burton here with his onboard camera. He's actually splitting those cars as we go. So you've got 3 grooves basically now, and Jeff Burton's making just anywhere work. He was on the bottom, and then he went to the top, and then he went in between the cars.
Boy, Jeff Burton and Casey Kane are on the march, but the car that really has made the most progress is the 77 of Kevin Harvick, the Dollar General Chevrolet. Watch this restart a moment ago. Now watch how aggressive Harvick is. Watch him just take off.
Somebody told him to go, and he went.
Well, he's never been shy on restarts anyway, but, that's just paying attention and being ready. Everybody else is just thinking about staying single file there, and, okay, we'll go whenever it's time, and let's not get out of hand. But Kevin was paying attention.
Harvick started back in 29th position and is now all the way up to 13th. That's how far he has come. And now he's trying to work on the inside of Casey Kane.
You might look at that move and think it's illegal, but as soon as that green flag comes out, it's legal to go to the outside and pass as many cars you want to, as long as that green flag's out. You can't pass to the left, but you can pass to the right.
And so that was all legal. Let's put more on Kevin Harvick. Let's check in his pits with Jamie.
Well, Doc, he's certainly on the move, but right before he got in his car, he's told us, actually, he's so frustrated with the way he qualified in 29th position, he went and took a shower right before opening ceremonies and said, I'm starting my day over. He got in his car, he looked ahead and said, I got these guys covered. And you can see he's on the march. He's already made up about 17 positions today. Doc?
You know, as good as Kevin Harvick is at this racetrack, he has 22 starts, 12 in a Cup car, 10 in a Busch car. He's never won a race here. I mean, it's hard to believe, as good as he's been and the good equipment as he's been in, that he has not had a chance to win a race here, but he says that's going to change today.
Yeah, he's got the right frame of mind for sure, and that's the first thing you got to have. You got to have that confidence and that positive attitude going in.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to start your day over. You know, it might not start out exactly like you want, and you know, you just go back and you start over. And you know, Kevin did a great thing there. Hey, let's go take a shower and cool off, and let's get this started in the right way. And he's doing a terrific job now. We saw Jamie Murray making a pass on the outside, so it's good to see this racetrack is really coming in to where you can make either groove work. Harvick seems to be able to make his car go on the bottom when he needs to, but if he has to go to that outside, he's able to do that also.
Kevin Harvick is a two-time NASCAR Busch Series champion who dominated this series a year ago with 9 wins and $2.8 million in earnings. He is now on his way to the front here at Dover, Delaware.
Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. 36 of 200 laps completed. Greg Biffle, who started on the outside of row 3, moving up to 3rd place. He's one of those guys that does double duty, runs the Nextel Cup and Busch, especially tough here, but to him, it's worth it.
What makes it fun is no pressure. You know, the pressure of the points, the pressure of your job, and all the things are like secondary, you know, because you're not running for a championship, and you're just there to have fun and win. And that's what makes the Busch Series so much fun for me.
Biffle, top 10 in his last 4 at Dover with 2 Dover wins, and we are under caution again. Doc?
Thank you, Susie. Caution for the second time of day. You can see there damage on the right side of the U.S. Navy Chevrolet.
We run over something, or what happened? I don't know. It just shot up the damn racetrack.
Shane Huffman had contact. We showed you the contact he had with the turn 2 wall on lap 2, where he bounced off the wall pretty heavily. And now apparently they've lost a right front tire. Let's see if we can see what happened to the 88 car.
Yeah, it looks like it just broke loose on him. You know, he had some damage from hitting the wall earlier, and the car probably wasn't driving good. But he's made some good hard contact there. That's going to probably take some attention behind the wall.
And with this yellow flag, Kyle Krisiloff will be the Aaron's Lucky Dog Free Pass Award winner. He's the first car that's 1 lap down, as there are 29 cars in the lead lap. He will make up that lap and become the 30th car on the lead lap here early on at Dover, Delaware.
Andy, we've run almost 40 laps now. What are these guys going to do?
It's going to be hard to keep them off pit road, I'll guarantee that.
I would have to think so, too. If I'm the driver, I'm hollering.
Well, they're lining up behind Denny Hamlin, who had his hands full because Scott Wimmer was all over the back of Hamlin trying to take the lead. But now they will head down pit road at 35 miles an hour. Kevin Harvick headed down toward you, Jamie Little.
Well, he was complaining, Doc, that he was loose in and he was tight up off. Hard to decipher that. Just seeing he's on a roll. He comes in 12th position. He's in his own car, as you guys mentioned, the 77. It's the 3rd time we've seen him in this car this season. He likes to get in there and see where his team stands. He's still looking for his victory in his own car. Let's go to Mike Massara.
Dave Blaney complaining the car a little bit tight. They made a chassis adjustment on the right side, 1 round down, and a 4-tire change. Dave?
Coming off the corner, Scott Wimmer wants his car to turn a little bit better. They'll reduce the air pressure in the left rear. Lug nuts off on the left rear. Slow stop for Wimmer in the 21. Allen.
4-tire change, just some air pressure adjustments for Denny Hamlin. Pretty smooth race for them so far, and a smooth stop. He held the lead.
And There's the race off pit road. Greg Biffle's crew doing great work. Carl Edwards likewise. Jeff Burton's, they continue to do awesome jobs in the pits. Pat Smith and company with the Holiday Inn Chevy. 5 spots gained during that pit stop. And how about Casey Mears' bunch? The National Guard team, Brian Hayland and company, up close and personal with a pit stop. And we welcome you back to the Dover 200. We have 41 of 200 laps complete. Let's check in under caution here with our in-race reporter, Casey Mears.
Casey, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Casey talking to Crew Chief Chad Walter there. And we do not want to interrupt that discussion as we will let these guys finish. Casey now being shown in the 5th position after this first round of pit stops among the leaders.
Stop.
Casey, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Casey, run a little over 40 laps. Is the track changing? You getting any more rubber down through the corners?
Yeah, it's starting to lay down a little bit more. Second groove's coming in. I was a little bit worried about running the top too early, to wear out the tires a little too much. I'm showing a little force on the right rear, but so the track's coming in. It's going to be a 2-groove racetrack here, pretty good, just a little bit, and I think we got a car that can maintain up here, or at least go forward a little bit. So we'll see how we do.
Looks good. Talk to you later.
Hey, Chad, it's Andy up in the booth. How do those tires look down there?
Just getting all the information on them now. Just a very small hint of cord, and I think it's just going to go away here. I think the problem fixes itself for that rubber on the racetrack, Andy.
10-4, Chad. Just checking in and see what the situation was. You guys have a good race.
10-4.
All right, you just joined our coverage. We're under the second caution flag today. Came out on lap 37. Shane Huffman had contact with the wall with the right side of his Navy Chevrolet. All the lead cars came in on lap 39, and that car, Scott Wimmer, who came in running second and actually challenging for the lead, is now being shown in 10th position. And here's the issues on pit road.
It looks like these guys have just a little bit of problem on the right, not too bad. They came around to the right, to the left side. I believe they had a little problem on the left rear. Yeah, it looks like you dropped lug nuts. These guys over here kind of struggling a little bit to get that tire chain. Yeah, and the one thing that happens right there is the car's parked just a little bit close to the wall. You have a hard time getting that jack in there. Maybe the car didn't get up quite high enough right off the bat, so they maybe had to give it an extra pump.
Well, as our crew chief Tim Brewer showed us during the NASCAR Countdown show, the pits are very narrow here, so it's very difficult to get a jack on the left side of that car, and it really puts the crew to quite a challenge.
Yeah, it does, and it's quite a challenge from the driver's perspective, too, because there's not much room to get your car in there, especially if you have to go around. Of course, Scott was running second. He didn't have to do that, but it's still a challenge. You want to make sure that you've got all of those tires in the box. You don't want any kind of penalty there. And sometimes these guys are just going to struggle. Drivers, we make mistakes at times, and things happen. We don't make perfect laps every time, and sometimes the crew's going to struggle.
But one thing about that mistake is it happened early. These guys got a fast race car. They got a lot of time to make it up.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Andy.
Well, Denny Hamlin set on the pole here, his 3rd pole in the last 4 races, driving the same car that he dominated the night at Darlington, leading 79 laps. And he has led since the get-go here in the drop of the green flag. 44 of 200 laps complete here. The NASCAR Busch Series first of 2 visits to the high bank concrete monster they call the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware.
I'll tell you, we watched, talked to Denny Hamlin in qualifying show. Said he didn't like this racetrack at all. And I'll tell you what, for somebody that doesn't like it, he's sure doing a good job qualifying on the pole and leading every lap so far.
Yes.
I wonder what he could do if he liked it.
Yeah, you have a good race car that would make you like a lot of things that you didn't before, maybe.
Yeah, he might change his mind.
All right, pace car will be pulling off. Let's listen in as we go full throttle.
Pace car's off. Pace car is dead. You start the race. Pace car down. Be ready. Okay, let's get ready. Be ready. Be ready. Green flag. Green flag. Verify 2. You're all around. Clear low. Still got 2 more laps. Real slow. Clear low. Come on. We have a couple of slow lappers on the bottom right here. Outside. Outside. Clear low. Clear low.
5-2. 7 inside.
And field now flaring out. Denny Hamlin takes off again up front, but he's going to have some challenges to the high side as Greg Biffle tries to look up high.
Yeah, Greg's got a sniff of that lead, and he really wants it right here. He's driving it hard in the corner on the outside. Might get it away from Denny right here. Takes that momentum off the corner and takes the lead.
Yeah, Denny's car is really good on the bottom, but if somebody gets to the outside and they've got that momentum, then it's hard to really give it the throttle that you need to up out of the corner. And I don't know that Denny's that concerned right at this point in time because his car was really good on the longer run that we had earlier.
I tell you what, that Greg Biffle, he's ready to go to work when that green comes out, isn't he?
When they throw the green, he's ready to get to the gas as hard as he can. Alan, you got more on Greg Biffle?
Yeah, DJ, I talked to Greg just before the start of the race, and he told me that on the first run of the race, until they made the first pit stop, he was going to take it kind of easy. Feel his car out, let the crew get a look at that first set of tires that came off the car. That first set of tires looked good, so maybe Greg should have loosened up on the reins a little bit here.
Well, while we were talking about him, he kind of let the 20 car take the lead back from him. Maybe he's just going to, he's kind of proved his car's good. Maybe he's just going to settle in here and just watch the tire wear and kind of take it easy and see if he can stretch this run.
Yeah, he may, and I'll offer something else that may be happening. He may have his car a little bit to the tight side. That allows him to go really hard with those new tires on, and he can go pretty good for a few laps. But as soon as that wears off, then the car starts to push a little bit, and then he's going to fall back. Whereas Denny Hamlin and Carl Edwards look like they really have their cars hooked up on the bottom. They may start out a little bit looser, but in just a couple of laps, they're pretty good.
And as you watch Carl Edwards now move in on Denny Hamlin, let's check in. We hear we may have had an injury on pit road. Mike Massaro.
That's right, Doc. Pit road certainly a dangerous place, and no different today. The front tire carrier for Brad Keselowski, Bill Mars, was struck in the shin, and get this, by an air wrench. This is the air wrench from David Gilliland's car. It was stuck in the lug nuts, and as Gilliland tore off pit road, it was still affixed to the lug nuts. It actually broke the hose. As the hose whipped down pit road, the wrench went with it and right into Bill Mars' ankle. Or actually, it's his shin, I should say. Doc?
That can be very, very dangerous. Those air wrenches weigh a lot. Obviously, all the compression and pressure there. It's unfortunate that the injuries weren't more significant. Here is Carl Edwards. Now he will look to the inside on the bottom of the racetrack, and it looks like Denny Hamlin moving up now on the racetrack a little bit, where he was hugging the bottom groove for much of the early part of the race.
Yeah, and right now I think that he's just saying, okay, Carl, if you're in that big of a hurry at this point in time, you go ahead and see what you can do out here for a little bit. He knows his car is really good, so I don't think that Denny's in any hurry.
Would he be maybe saying, okay, let me let him pass me and see what he's got, see how his car looks while he's out in front of me, and maybe I'll know how to adjust my car for later in the race.
You know, it's either that or he very well could be saying, okay, I don't want to show him just how good my race car is right now, because if you go out and, you know, put some distance on these people, they're smart enough, they'll come in here and work on them.
Yeah,
but if you hang on just a little bit and, you know, don't have to lead every bit of it, then the guys won't work as hard on their cars.
Pretty good battle for 10th spot. We told you Scott Wimmer had that issues with the left rear tire on pit road. Law cost him 8 spots on that pit stop, and now he's just trying to hang on to 10th. He actually loses the position to the 17 car of Matt Kenseth as they're trying to move in on the 9th place car of Regan Smith.
Yeah, Matt's car wasn't quite as good in that first run. I think that we'd heard him talk about that he didn't particularly like his car that much. It looked like they worked on it some, but there again, you see him try to make that move on the inside. Lost a little bit of momentum coming up out of the corner, and Scott Wimmer's there to try to take that spot back.
And with more on Scott Wimmer, let's check in with Dave.
Right before this race started, Scott radioed to his crew, okay guys, let's be aggressive today. He meant aggressive calls on pit road. Of course, pit road's going to have to recover and be very aggressive. And it looks like he means aggressive on the racetrack. That was a bold move coming off of turn 2 as he battles with Matt Kenseth.
All right, these battles back in the pack. Meanwhile, Carl Edwards, our series points leader, has assumed the point here at Dover, Delaware. Edwards, who experienced his worst finish of the year last week at Lowe's Motor Speedway in 17th spot, but hangs on to the points lead and is the leader here at Dover, Delaware.
Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. NASCAR Busch Series at Dover, 63 of 200 laps complete. So far, 2 cautions, 3 lead changes. Points leader Carl Edwards assumed the last one, and that's where we get up to speed, beginning with Alan Bestwick.
Susie, Carl Edwards, the race leader right now, talking back and forth with his crew chief, Pierre Cattell. He's been running laps a couple tenths of a second faster than the second place car, and he just asked, how big is my lead? I think he wants to back off and try and save his tires. One thing for sure, there's been no backing off where points are concerned for Carl.
That we're running this number 60 car, and you know, this whole Ford Fusion team is working the way they are to win this championship. I mean, the last 2 years, I feel like we've been close, and if we would have done things a little bit differently or been a little smarter, we could have won it. But you know, that's what we're doing this year.
Carl right now with a massive 423-point lead in the championship, although the next 3 weeks get to be interesting. The Cup and Busch Series races are in separate locations. Denny Hamlin has fallen back now to second place. He's a couple of seconds behind Carl. Denny talked about after the first pit stop how he wasn't really even pushing his car as hard as he needed to. He said he was saving something back. I haven't heard any radio traffic right now from Denny, although he's just been passed by Greg Biffle and fallen back to third place. As for Biffle told me before the race he had a great race car. He didn't think he needed to push it very hard in the opening laps. He loves this racetrack at Dover. What he really needs is to win one of these Busch Series races. He kind of feels like they've been snake bitten by bad luck so far this year. Dave?
Last year, Dover International Speedway was very good to Jeff Burton. In his 13th try in the Busch Series, he finally won here. Then in the fall, in his 26th Nextel Cup start, he won the race as well with thunderstorms moving in. Burton right now says his car's a little bit difficult to turn, but once again, he's on track here at Dover.
Alan? You heard from Casey Mears crew chief Chad Walter, our in-race reporter, just a few minutes ago about how they had a slight bit of right rear cord showing on their tires. Chad told Casey just before the restart to conserve his car and pace himself this run. Then later on the next pit stop, they give him a set of tires on which he could drive like crazy. Susie?
Now you're up to speed. Carl Edwards in the number 60 car out front. He said, I think we're all happiest when we're driving. Edwards loved doing that double duty, and he is out front in the NASCAR Busch Series at Dover. We'll be back with more live action right after this.
Driving a lap at Dover would be probably equivalent to one of the coolest roller coasters you've ever been on.
We kind of go from being up on top of a hill to where when you get into the corner, you go down into a hole almost.
Kind of jump off the baking, land in the middle of the corner, feel a lot of G-loads when it lands.
We drive uphill coming out of the corner, so the car makes 4 big transitions per lap.
If you're going to lose it here, this is probably the worst place to lose it because you're going to hit something.
And when you crash, you generally crash big. You know, if you get loose and you hit the outside wall, there's a good chance you're going to slide all the way across the racetrack and hit the inside wall. Anything can happen when you come to this racetrack.
It's a monster, all right.
And that's the story of the Monster Mile here at Dover International Speedway. Here's a look at the Castrol GTX lap leaders after 78 laps. And believe it or not, Denny Hamlin had led only one race for 4 laps before today. Of course, he was the pole sitter. Brad Daugherty, one of the big issues coming into the race was tires, tire management.
Yeah, it has been, and I wanted to throw this out to Dale Jarrett. I mean, you saw Greg Biffle earlier get up on that high side and get in that second groove and just go right past Denny Hamlin, but no one else is really venturing up there. DJ, do you think it's the tires, or they're a little too hard? No one seems to be cruising in that second groove yet.
Yeah, Brad, what you find is that, you know, you might get a little bit of grip there for a few laps whenever you have the new tires on, but it just doesn't seem like that it's coming in. And as a driver, what you do is you go by those lap times that your crew is giving you, and as you start to what you feel like you're slowing down more around the bottom, you'll venture up to the top. And you have to do it more than just 1 or 2 laps to get in a rhythm to see exactly how much throttle you can give it, how much you can let the car roll, and how soon you can pick the throttle up. But we really don't see anybody right now. We see guys up there, but nobody really making any time on that top side like we were hoping. What you're doing is just making a bigger racetrack out of it. And these guys that have their cars set up that can go around the bottom, like Carl Edwards, he's going to beat you a couple of tenths a lap if your car has to go up and you have to use up more racetrack. So it's an issue that you want to get up there because it's actually more fun and easier to drive if you're up middle to the top part of the racetrack. But the fastest way around, it seems right now, is on the bottom.
All right, Carl Edwards started 8th today and is being shown as our leader, has currently led 29 laps. He is one of 3 leaders. 3 lead changes among 3 leaders as we check in Carl Edwards pits with Ellen.
Yeah, Doc, just want to let you eavesdrop on the conversation between the race-leading driver at speed and his crew down here on pit road.
Just a little free. Like we can drop that track car a little, or put just a tiny bit of air in the left rear. Or just like a quarter round in the left rear. Yeah, I like the quarter round left rear.
Andy and DJ, how rare is it or how common is it for a driver to actually suggest specific adjustments from the car while he's out there racing?
Well, it's not all that rare, but it is a nice thing that the driver has that good a feel for the race car that he's going to call for a change like that. And then, you know, as a crew chief, you may take that and do exactly what he says or even make another suggestion. But one thing I'm hearing when I hear them talk about their race car is that the track is not tightening up. And I've heard that on the radio of a few other teams also, that this track is not really taking rubber like normal. And so the cars are not tightening up, and that's what they're trying. The drivers are trying to get that message across. Don't loosen me up like you normally would.
Yeah, this is a totally different racetrack than what we've seen in the past. And back to Alan's question, yeah, a lot of times as a driver, you'll throw out 2 or 3 different things. You know your race car, and obviously Carl Edwards knows his car well. He knows he doesn't have too much wedge in it. He knows he can go down on the track bar if he needs to. And he also knows that they're probably not up too far on the air pressure in the left rear. So those are things as we have problems on the racetrack.
Caution, turn 1.
And the 28 car having contact. That's Robert Richardson in the Border Patrol Chevrolet has some pretty significant damage.
Stop it anywhere along in there. You all right? Robert, you okay?
Yeah, he's got a flat right front tire. We don't know if that happened after he hit the wall or before he hit the wall. But this is... Yeah.
So we can see...
Just got the air knocked out of me.
Oh, yeah, you see the tire goes down, and he's got nowhere to go but in the fence right there.
Well, I can tell you, thank goodness for the safer barriers, because I've hit this wall before having a tire go down, and it's no fun. It's no fun with the safer barriers, but it does lessen that lick a little bit. But there's just nothing you can do as a driver but hang on when you're in that situation.
Yeah, we saw the window net come down, so that signals the safety crews that he's okay, and they'll get him checked out, and he should be okay.
Yeah, you know, you don't want to see caution, but I'm sure there's a lot of crew chiefs and probably some drivers that right now are happy to see something bring out a caution, because they've run a little over 40 laps with this, and they want to see about these tires exactly what do they have.
Yeah, longest run of the day thus far, DJ. Good point. They've run now 48 laps since their last pit stop on lap 39, and you see the safety crews there being very careful with Robert Richardson as the crews are waiting. There's Dave Blaney's bunch as Carl Edwards, our leader, will bring them down pit road at 35 miles per hour, and we head down to Mike Massaro.
And Doc, Dave Blaney still complaining about a tight race car. They're going to raise the track bar just a little bit, a 4-tire change, trying to free him up a little bit. They're working on the right side. Now they swing around to the left side, looking for a good stop. Jamie.
Guys, rookie Regan Smith is in the box. He started 5th. He's been running top 10 the entire race. The team couldn't be more proud of him. 4 tires and fuel. Let's go to Dave.
And Jeff Burton's already had a wedge adjustment in his car, air pressure as well. Car was a little bit tighter at the end of that run. Jeff told him, let's keep up with that. Ellen.
Carl Edwards' crew talking to him about his positioning inside the pit box. Before he came in, they had a little trouble on the rear tires there. Let's see if he holds the lead.
And Carl Edwards will indeed hold the lead. Denny Hamlin's crew getting another great pit stop, gained 2 spots. Jeff Burton's bunch lost a spot. Casey King, great effort by the Dodge team, up 6 spots to put him in the top 5. Green flag when we come back.
Back here inside the pit studio, the Monster Mile living up to its reputation. 3rd caution, a concrete mile. What does that mean for setup?
Well, I heard a great question asked a second ago by a driver. He asked the crew chief, if I can have a quarter round in the right rear. I want to ask Tim Brewer, does a quarter round in the right rear help the race car, or does it just help the driver in between the ears?
Well, first of all, the crew chief's going to pass out because he didn't know he had the car that close. But realistically, a quarter of a turn might be maybe 0.2%. But I tell you what, I'd love to know I had a car that good, and congratulations to those guys. DJ, what do you think about a quarter of a turn in the left rear?
It's been a while since I've asked for that little bit of a change. Yeah, you know your car's pretty good there. So Carl's car is good. He's just trying to make it perfect, and that's what we're always after as we go back to green.
And going back to green, for more information on changes on the car, you can log on to ESPN.com, search word know-how. As you get more updates and information from our expert crew chiefs like Andy Petrie and Tim Brewer. And J.J. Yaley having troubles after having a really good weekend up to this point, making his 100th NASCAR Busch Series start, and his car off the pace and headed back toward pit road. And the 16 car.
Temple left rear, I think. I can't tell what you got.
Greg Biffle.
You don't know, we'll put 4 on it.
Biffle, a two-time winner here at Dover, had led 2 laps, now headed back to pit road for an unscheduled stop due to a flat tire.
Yeah, they can't figure out which one it is. If they knew which one, they just get 2.
Which one it is, Greg? Everybody on pit road after 17. Oh, good. I think it's the left rear. The rights look up. Do left then. Do left here. Get on down pit road and get left on it.
I tell you, that's a risky move.
Look at it here.
Headed down to you, Alan Bestwick.
They've been hearing the radio traffic. They've been trying to determine which tire it is, because if he knows it's the right side, maybe they can just change 2 and not go as many laps down as they're going to by having to change 4. The pit road speed here at Dover is kind of slow, so by the time you come all the way down the pit road, then make the tire change, and you see they've had to do all 4. Boy, he's lost a lot of ground as the leader goes ripping by him again.
Yeah, the pit road speed just 35 miles an hour. It seemed like an eternity, him trying to bring that car down pit road.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if you don't know which tire's down, it's best just to say, change 4 tires, be done with it, because if you don't hit it that first time, I mean, you just dig a hole you can't get out of by having to pit again.
Yeah,
and, those guys couldn't quite tell which one it was. Still probably don't know till they check the air in them.
Yeah, and now the issue is I think you only had 3 sets behind the wall. You just put another set on, and you better be checking those out to see if you can at least salvage 3 of them anyway.
That's right. You want to make sure that you don't throw anything away that's still got rubber on it.
And as a driver, that's so difficult to determine which one of those is. I mean, either one of the rear tires going down is going to give you a feeling of the car being loose. So it's hard to differentiate between that sometimes, especially at a racetrack like this, where you have that feeling, a little bit of a loose feeling anyway on the restart.
Carl Edwards has led twice today here for 43 laps. Now, you talk about a guy who knows concrete. Now, Carl Edwards has won both of his races this year on the concrete at Bristol and Nashville and led the most laps in both those races. So he understands what it takes to get around the concrete racetrack. And the 7 car, the Geico Chevy of Mike Wallace, former winner here, just had a couple of anxious moments. Let's watch Mike here. Just, oh, man.
Yep, he's almost clear. Not quite. He was lucky not to get in the wall.
Yeah, that was a great save. You know, the banking here sometimes helps you to be able to do that. It's hard to tell exactly who that was. They were just racing.
Come on, do it again.
You could tell he just wanted to turn down and go under that 14 car, and he just didn't quite have enough room.
Yeah, Mike was moving up. He'd restarted about 27th, was moving. That would have put him in 20th position had he been able to make that pass and back in the top 20. And obviously that was not the case. Now, let's check back in the Greg Biffle pits with Alan and see exactly what the tire issue was.
Just very quickly, Doc, the follow-up. There it is. He ran over something on the racetrack, a cut right rear.
Okay, that's the thing. You know, they didn't know which one it was. They came really close to just changing those left sides coming down pit road, and that would have even put him in a bigger hole. He's already in a hole that he maybe can dig out of, but if he had to come back down pit road, he probably couldn't make it up.
Yeah, the only way that he could save this now is obviously if this goes green for quite a while and everybody has to cycle around and make a pit stop.
And let's give a shout out to Mike Bliss in the 22 car. What a race Mike, the former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series champion, has driven. He started 30th today, and in about 18 laps he was in the top 15, and now Mike Bliss takes that Dodge into 6th position. Mike Bliss making his 8th start of the year. He's got 2 top 10s, both of them 10th place finishes at Bristol and Nashville, the 2 concrete racetracks, and having a great run here at Dover today.
Now, watching the run before this last caution came out, and he was making a lot of ground. He had some of the fastest lap times that I saw.
And for more on Mike Bliss, let's check in with Dave Burns.
And Doc, he's just flat driving it. They have gone a little bit tight at one run. They go a little bit loose one run. So the car has responded to the changes the crew's made. But Mike just driving it and very comfortable at this racetrack this weekend. Finished 5th yesterday in a Craftsman Truck Series race. And he'll also race tomorrow, the next Cup race. So a big weekend for Mike Bliss in this 22 car.
And Mike Bliss is showing that it pays to be aggressive here because he is driving that car owned by Armando Fitz towards the top 5. As we continue under green here, 2 laps away from halfway point. Carl Edwards, the points leader, is also our race leader here at the Monster Mile.
Jeff Burton is on pit road here at Dover on lap 98. He said this car is tight on lap 103. He said this car just went sideways loose. And on lap 108, he said it drove straight in turn 3 when he tried to drive it in the corner. He thinks he has a tire going down. They will change all 4. Jeff leaves pit road. Susie Culver.
Dave, from the Holiday Inn car to the Holiday Inn race rundown, the Monster Mile, they call it a thinking man's track, mentally and physically demanding. Kevin Harvick started 29th, moved up to 14th by lap 17. How about this move?
Well, he's just being very aggressive, obviously, and he's on the outside, taking a chance of getting up in that upper groove, picking up spaces, which you have to pass to the right on a restart, but Kevin, very aggressive.
One of the things we were going to watch, pit road, and Scott Wimmer paid the price.
Well, I tell you, Scott Wimmer having a great run going along today, and then he has this lug nut problem. It puts him in the back of the pack. I still think he can make his way back up through the field. He's got a great race car.
Points leader Carl Edwards started 8th, moving up through the field, took the lead on lap 56.
Well, Carl looks really comfortable in that race car. He's run high, he's run low, he's got out front, and he's just stretching his legs right now riding.
Car looks about as close to perfect as you can get. 5 lead changes, 4 leaders, 3 cautions as we get you up to speed, beginning with Alan Bestwick.
Well, Susie, let's talk about that leader, Carl Edwards. After they made some adjustments on his last pit stop, he said the car, this was the guy that was leading now before the stop, he said the car's way better off the corner. He loves the track. He's got a good car. You think he's having fun this afternoon? Yeah. Dave?
Scott Wimmer has passed cars to get back up to the position he was running in earlier when he came on pit road and lost all that track position. That's 2nd place. The car during the last run was just a little bit loose in the corners, but okay to the point where he said, make no changes. Just give me 4 fresh tires. Alan.
Denny Hamlin started on pole, led all but one of the first 53 laps of this race, but now he's been shuffled back to 3rd. Despite a couple of adjustments on the 2 pit stops, they can't get the front grip on his car to his liking. They're still trying to adjust on that in the remaining laps. Dave?
Mike Bliss, this will be his, I believe it's his 8th start in the Busch Series for the Fitz Racing people today. And if everyone was wondering which car he's driving in the Cup race tomorrow, he's not. And I made a mistake, and he won't be in the Cup race. This will be the swan song for Mike Bliss this weekend, and running great in that 22 car to round out his weekend. Mike.
It's been an uphill battle for the 17 team all weekend long. First, they've got a sick driver, and they've had an ill-handling race car. It was hopping all over the racetrack during practice, so much that they had to put the Cup Series setup in it. Give it to the captain of the team, though. They've charged from 19th all the way to 6th. Alan?
Casey Kane's pit crew have been the stars of the day for him so far. They gained 6 spots on pit road in the first stop, 5 spots on pit road on the next stop, and they're going to get another chance right now because the caution's out.
And caution being shown on the racetrack here for the 4th time today at Dover, Delaware. As you take a look at the yellow flag being waved by Kevin Moss. And we will slow down and here on lap 117. As Carl Edwards continues to lead, and a tough break for a couple of guys. There's debris on the racetrack. We've already seen 2 drivers come on the pit road because of cut tires. We saw Greg Biffle come in on lap 94 and lost a couple laps, changing a right rear. And just a few laps ago, lap 109, the 29 car of Jeff Burton, who was running 4th at the time, comes in likewise with a cut tire.
Yeah, that's why NASCAR is not taking any chances when they see debris out there, because you don't want to see one of these guys cut one of the right fronts down and hit that wall. We've already seen how hard these cars can hit. So that's probably a really good move on NASCAR's part to make sure they get that off of there. The only problem is it's going to use up another set of tires for these guys, and they just don't have that many sets sitting in the pits. There's going to be time to start thinking about whether we ought to pit or not, whether we ought to save a set of tires.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are coming in. They're going to get, I think this will be their 3rd, and they should have one more after that. So it's coming right at the perfect time almost for these guys.
Yeah, it should work out okay, but it sure does get them thinking.
All right, pit stops, Mike Massaro.
And Doc Mackens is saying he's way too loose on entry. Can't really get in the gas the way he wants to. They're going to try to tighten him up with an air pressure adjustment and a 4-tire change. Jamie?
Juan Pablo Montoya saying he's loose in and been tight in the center all day. They went down on the track bar and a little bit of air out of that left rear, so the car is so unpredictable. Dave?
Little tight at the end of the run for Scott Wimbert. No big deal, said the driver. Air pressure lowered in the left side tires and slow on the left rear again. Alan.
Going to be a tight race off of pit road. Carl Edwards is not going to hold the lead this time. A 4-tire change there and a bag of ice into the cockpit for the driver's comfort.
All right, do you see how tight the pits are here? The pitfalls of tight pits at Dover, Delaware. Back with the green flag at the Monster Mile in just a moment. Well, in hot pursuit of points leader Dan Weldon, Tony Kanaan looks to duplicate last year's performance and take the checkered flag at the Milwaukee Mile. The A.J. Foyt 225 on ABC comes your way tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. Well, under caution for the 4th time a day, and interesting communications here between the driver of the 4-car, Regan Smith, and a veteran driver he's talking to on the radio. Let's listen in.
On in, even back in the corner up, I tried a couple different ways getting in there, but when I get tight, it's just like I go up the racetrack just enough to make it not work.
The trouble that you're having there on entry, you know, landing kind of harsh on the springs and all that, there, you know, that's going to be hard to fix.
Of course, that was Mark Martin. Great to have someone like Mark Martin to talk to you on the radio who can watch the car enter and exit the corner, guys, and be able to know what the car's doing and be able to give that kind of input to a young driver.
Yeah, that's just invaluable. You know, Regan Smith's got himself in a nice spot to have a good race team behind him, and then a mentor like Mark Martin helping him at these places as he tries to get that experience. And you know, some things that you're feeling in the car, sometimes someone can see things from the outside and they can understand that or tell you exactly what your car is doing, and makes you understand it a little bit more about why you're not able to do what you're trying to.
And having somebody like Mark Martin on the other end, you got confidence what he's saying is true, too.
Absolutely.
So.
You know, we asked Regan Smith, you know, how is it to be able to know that you're not only sharing a car, but you're learning from one of the best in the business, Mark Martin?
Having a chance to get in cars right after he's gotten out of them and kind of feel what he likes has helped me kind of adapt a little bit as a driver to what I'm looking for now.
I mean, you talked about it being invaluable, but how about having Mark Martin get in the car and drive it, and then you jump in and say, wow, this is what it's supposed to feel like?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go talk to Mark, see if he's got a little bit of extra time, get in my car every once in a while. I mean, I think the world of Mark Martin, if there's anybody that has more talent out here, I don't know who it is, but you know, that's just great that Regan has this opportunity, and it'll just help quicken that learning curve that he may help, or that he may have here in trying to get used to these Busch cars and the Cup cars.
Well, it certainly made a big difference for Regan Smith and being able to really be able to be competitive this year. Regan, of course, you know, having a great run, equaling his career best finish of 5th last week at Lowe's Motor Speedway. He also had a 5th at Nashville early in the year, now being 6th in the points. And by the way, we might mention David Reagan was the first car off of pit road, the 6th car, but because he was speeding exiting pit road, he had to go to the end of the longest line, and so there is the David Reagan car you saw leave pit road in 1st position. As the field lines up behind the pace car, we have completed 122 of 200 laps. As we get set to go green, let's listen in as we go full throttle.
All right, be ready, bud. We'll look some up high here. You can go low and start finish line, whatever you need to do. Just be ready. Hey, stars off. Hey, cars in. Let's be ready. Tighten up now. Be ready. Be ready. Great. Still outside. Still inside. Still there. Back 27. That's our speed bottom. Another one coming. Still up there. Still clear all around. Too wide. Still outside of you. Still outside. Clear. Clear. Clear low if you need it. Clear low, clear low, clear low, clear, clear.
By one, nice. Stay down, keep rolling, keep rolling, keep rolling.
Whoa, trouble at 7 car is sideways. That's a heavy contact with the back of the car, the Geico Chevy, and we got 3 cars spinning. There's the 6 car. David Reagan goes down on the inside in the grassy area. And, significant damage there for the Robert Yates car of Stephen Light, who had a great run a week ago at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with this racetrack. It's banked all the way around, and it's just hardly anywhere to go when you got a wreck in front of you, and all these cars start sliding down the hill.
So caution coming out for the 5th time today here. And there's the damage on the right side of David Reagan's car.
Yeah, that just proves how you can't make mistakes because, and you know, we've all done it, but he got a speeding on pit road penalty that put him at the back of the pack. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been in that position to be a part of that accident. So, yeah, it's so crucial. We talk about it all the time, just mistake-free if you can do that.
Yeah, because sometimes they get amplified. A mistake can, like he just had on pit road, seems kind of innocent to have to go to the back of the line to start the race, but puts him back there in a really vulnerable position to get in a wreck.
Yeah, watch the top of your screen here. There's a 7 car bouncing off, and then watching these guys trying to avoid him as he's just trying to get the car slowed down but can't get it to stop.
Yeah, this all started off of turn 4, which is very difficult in these restarts, and it just continued all the way down into turn 1.
All these guys just looking for a place to go. Can't quite get out of the way quick enough.
Looking at that, Mike Wallace might have had a tire going down to start with.
Bad. It hit the rear clip.
Yeah, watch from the roof camera the 25 car of David Gillen.
Looks like Mike Wallace got into his nephew just a little bit.
Outside, outside, outside. Reach yourself, watch yourself. Good job. Caution's out.
Caution number 5 of the day involving 3 cars. Back with a restart in just a moment.
Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear, helping NASCAR drivers get to the finish line for the past 25 years. And from high above, we can see that the monster is having its way. 5th caution was out. This time, red flag. Drivers are stopped on the track. At this point in the race, lap 124, when this red flag came out. Yeah. What's happened in terms of drivers and maybe even exhaustion? We talked about how demanding mentally and physically.
Well, you know what, Susie? I think because they've run single file most of the day, I don't think the drivers are wore out. We've had a limited number of cautions, so I think everyone's still relatively fresh. But I'm watching that 21 car and Scott Wimmer. He is really in a fast race car. Mike Bliss is having a great run. The obvious guys, you know, the Carl Edwardses and the Denny Hamlins are up front. But these guys are inching towards that front. If we can get a long green lap finish, I think we're going to see a great race to the end.
What makes a difference in the way Carl Edwards is driving this track?
Well, Carl's just so smooth, and he made the adjustment on his race car he called for, as we made fun of a little while back on that quarter in the left rear. But his car is so smooth throughout the corners, and he's just not overdriving the car. Same with Denny Hamlin. But I'm telling you, Scott Wimmer is coming, and Mike Bliss is driving the wheels off his race car.
Oh, to share more, let's go down to Tim Brewer at the Chevy Cutaway car. Tim?
Thanks, Susie. You know, you hear a lot of reference to the rear clip. What that is, that's the section behind the rear wheels. Basically back here, this area, this frame section, it's holding the fuel cell up off the ground. The rear bars right here, they're running up to the top of the roll cage. But we can clip this thing in different sections. You can clip it right along this area right here. But in the case of Mike Wallace, when it needs a full rear clip, you're talking about moving up in front of the spring towers, all the way up here to the battery box right behind the roll cage. And when you got to clip them that heavy, they've had a terrible impact back there, and it's really a lot of damage, a lot of repair work, a lot of sheet metal damage involved. And, you know, maybe we'll get into the front clips later today. Back to Mike Massaro now.
Tim, when we just showed the replay of that accident, one guy who was really interested was Mike Wallace. His eyes were glued to our monitor. What'd you see?
I was cleared by the spotter, and I come up, and unfortunately, darn, there was a lap car that just trying to, you know, I guess he slid up down there in the corner. But I started to come up, and he had his nose up to our right rear quarter panel, and unfortunately turned us in the wall. And I guess when it did that, it broke a track bar or something like that. You know, it's very unfortunate. The Geico Chevrolet was running fairly well today. You know, just trying to make a little move on that restart, get under and past the 4 car, and looked like we had done that, and got slowed up just a little bit on the bottom and coming to the top. And it's a shame. You know, it tore up a lot of good race cars. Unfortunate for all those guys behind us and ourselves. And you know, just wish it wouldn't have happened. But hey, help me out, everybody. Call Geico. You can save 15% on your car insurance. We're definitely going to need it today. So,
fortunately, nobody's going to insure that car now. Dave?
And the 21 crew looking for a little pit road insurance, I think, at this point. Champion crew chief Shane Wilson. With a team that a few races ago, you guys decided to go with a kind of an all-developmental crew for the over-the-wall bunch here. What's going on today, Shane?
Well, we're just, you know, not having a real good day, but, you know, that's, you know, the pressure's on. We're running up front, and they're getting to feel some pressure, and, you know, they just had a couple little miscues, but this is how you get better, and this is why we had to do it. And, you know, today it's frustrating when you got a car as good as we do, but, you know, we had to do it sometime, and we all decided to do it, and we just got to grind it out here.
Is there anything procedural? Are the lug nuts popping off because of when they were glued or anything like that? Anything like that going on?
No, it's just the pressure of the situation. You know, we practice it, but you can't simulate here, and that's why we did it. But, you know, hopefully they'll get it straightened out, and we'll just keep on working on it.
Shane's driver Scott Wimmer says, hey, I can pass these guys. We got a fast race car, and we've seen it already today. Jerry?
All right, thank you, Dave. You hear all the jet dryers in the background trying to blow the track off, and while we are still under red, let's check in with our in-race reporter, Casey Mears, who currently sits in 6th position.
Casey, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, I know it's hot in there sitting there right now, but you're sitting in 6th spot. Looks like you have a pretty good car. Do you think you have anything for Carl Edwards and Denny Hamlin?
You know, I think we got a really good car, and if we could just get up there, we'd be fine. A little bit tough getting by these guys. Everybody's running, you know, a lot of the same lap times here. And had a little trouble on a stop back there. Other than that, the guys have been doing excellent all day long. We'll see what we can do. Man, if we could just get up there, I think we'd have something for them, but we need to get there first.
All right, once again, you seeing any change in the racetrack, or is that bottom groove still the way to go, or have you ventured up top to see how that's working out?
Been running up top a little bit after the tires wear off, keep my momentum up. The track seems to be getting a little bit tighter, so we're chasing that just a tick. But all in all, pretty good here. Just got to get back up to the front.
Good luck with that.
All right, let's check in with his crew chief, Chad Walter, and see how his race has been going from the pits.
Hey, Chad Walters, Andy Petrie, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Chad. We got about 73 laps to go. Can you guys make it all the way on fuel and tires?
Well, we're definitely good to go on fuel. We still have one set of tires here, and I'm hoping some of these guys have used up their stuff. So we took it easy in practice yesterday to have this extra set for the end of the race. And if it comes down to it, I'm going to use them. There's nothing we can do with them after today.
Yeah, that'll probably be a great big advantage for you if you happen to get a caution in the right place. But if it does go green, you think that the tires will go that long?
Well, knock on wood, we don't have any more troubles, but it doesn't really seem like all these cars can go that long. So I got a feeling there's going to be a caution or two left before the end of this race, Andy.
Yeah, it does look like that. You guys have a good race, Chef. Thanks.
All right.
10-4, thank you.
All right, Chad Walters calling the shots for Casey Mears back in 6 spots. Are all still chasing Carl Edwards. Green flag when we come back. Back at Dover, Delaware, 20 cars are on the lead lap. Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin, Casey Kane, Jason Leffler, and Mike Bliss in the top 5. Getting set for the restart here as we listen in and go full throttle.
Still there. Drive it away. Still inside. Still there. Outside. Still inside. Still there. Still there. 16. Outside. 16 outside. Clear low. They're going to play for it down the bottom now. Still down there. Still inside.
And this car you're riding along with, this is Jeff Burton, who was being shown 2 laps down due to the unscheduled pit stop back on lap 109 for a cut tire. He was desperately trying to get in front of Carl Evans on that restart so he could possibly be the next lucky dog and maybe get both those laps back.
Yeah, he was looking for the 2-for-1 special. If he could have got that in front of Carl Evans right there, he could have got the lucky dog the next time and maybe got both those laps back. But he's just struggling. It's hard to get going on the bottom of, when you're on the inside here on a restart for some reason. You just can't seem to get going.
Yeah, I think some of it has to do with obviously the concrete and trying to get your tires hooked up to that. And the other is the banking on the racetrack. Makes it difficult, I think, on the front stretch there to really get in the gas like the guy on the outside.
And for more on Jeff Burton, let's check in his pits with Dave.
And one of the reasons why he'd like to get back on the lead lap, his car is back. It feels pretty good underneath, and crew chief Pat Smith confirmed that the car is okay, and they didn't find any tires that were reduced in air pressure when he came on pit road for that stop. So something funny going on, but at the moment, Jeff's race car is back.
Yeah, but he's got Greg Biffle now in front of him, and he'd be the next guy in line for that lucky dog, even though he's 2 laps down also. I'll tell you what these guys do, though. You know, these cup drivers, they feel something kind of goofy like that at Dover. They want to get in there and make sure there's nothing wrong. They're not going to take a chance on cutting a tire down, maybe getting in the wall and knocking them out for a few months.
Yeah, and while you watch this battle here is a 17 car trying to hang on Matt Kenseth. Mike Massaro is caught up with Stephen Light.
And you can visibly see the distress on Stephen Light's face, Doc. Obviously upset about what transpired on the racetrack. What happened?
I don't know. I never did see the replay, but from what I knew, the 6 car was quite a bit back coming off of 4, and we just restarted. All the lap cars on the bottom were packing everybody in there tight on the top. And everybody on the front stretch had slowed down before we even got to the finish line. Everybody had slowed down when we got into turn 1 because everybody could see the 7 car was wrecking. The 6 car apparently decided he was going to pass everybody in 1 lap. And I guess I don't know. I guess that's why he's got a rookie stripe on there. But the City Financial team has done a great job all weekend, man. We had a great car. They worked their butts off. I think we were up to like 13th there that one run, and we struggled early on in the race and got it better about halfway, and we started making a charge towards the front and just sitting there waiting, and just unfortunately, it was some more bad luck.
Well, guys, obviously Stephen Light upset with David Reagan, but for the record, Reagan came over before our interview and apologized to Stephen Light.
Yeah, we have been told that David Reagan, the driver of the 6 car, who did apologize, by the way, has been called on a NASCAR truck along with his spotter and crew chief after the race for a consultation.
Yeah, you make a mistake like that, and NASCAR wants to pull you in there and kind of point it out to you and tell you how to avoid it in the future. And it didn't look like Stephen Light was too happy with him about it.
No, and that's unfortunate. You know, it's unfortunate for all of those guys that were involved there. But, you know, until that caution comes out, I guess you keep racing. Even though you see a guy struggling there, a lot of guys will back out. And I'm sure that it's a lesson for David that he will take and move forward with that. And, you know, the next time the caution comes out or he sees a situation like that, he'll be better served, and he'll know that backing out is the better thing to do. As we have a battle for 5th here now, here comes Scott Wimmer again. We've talked a lot about him all day long. And even though his pit crew a couple of times has put him in the hole, he keeps battling back.
And Dave Burns, a 21 car, just keeps somehow finding his way back into the top 5.
And that is a car that Richard Childress Racing believes can win the race today. And so, therefore, they have moved the crew of Jeff Burton into the pit stall of Scott Wimmer. The 29 crew is now standing around waiting for the next time they might have an opportunity to pit the 21 car and keep Scott Wimmer in contention for the win. Big move team-wise down here on pit road.
Yeah, Dave, I'll tell you what, this 21 car, I've been watching him all day. He's got the best car. He does. He's got he's run the fastest lap times all day. They've given up these spots in the pits. If they've got that pit crew available to them and they feel like they can get the job done, I say go for it. Try to get Scott a win here.
Yeah, he came in second on that first pit stop and came out 10th of the pits because of a lug nut issue with the left rear. And then he's had a couple issues, as you heard Shane talking about down there. But now Richard Childress says, you know what? This kid's driving this hard. Let's give him a shot on pit road. We probably got, one more stop maybe if we get a yellow.
Yeah, I'd say we got at least one more stop, and maybe even if we have a green flag situation, you may see these guys on pit road. So I kind of, you know, applaud Richard for taking his best shot here. Let's try to get a win.
That's the kind of owner that you want to drive for. I'll assure you that. And Scott's done a terrific job with the race car. But, you know, people think that these owners are in this Busch Series just to be here because they have good sponsorship. They come here and want to win races. And Richard Childress is going to do whatever it's going to take on this particular day.
Scott Wimmer's very first NASCAR Busch Series win came here at this racetrack in the fall of 2002 in his 63rd start.
Yeah, we're seeing Juan Pablo Montoya there in the 42 car, and his first time to Dover. And this is, I can't express enough how different a racetrack this is with the concrete surface and how much you fall off into the corners and drive uphill off the corners, and how much the car changes from getting down into the corner to what it does off the corner. We see that he's picked up 10 spots from where he started in 24th today, but he's just doing a terrific job. I mean, this gentleman has a lot of talent. You know, we had a lot of questions about what would he do when he came to the Busch Series and into the Cup Series, but I think he's answered all of those.
Well, he sure had a steep learning curve. He comes out of these open wheel cars, now he's going to learn how to drive stock cars. Oh yeah, but we're going to run his car tomorrow too, and we're going to run these concrete tracks, and we're going to, you know, it's a lot of different things they're throwing at this guy in one season, and he's doing a great job, and his learning curve is steep.
And how about the efforts of Kevin Harvick, and starting way back after a frustrating qualifying run in the 77 car. He started back in 29th position, and Jamie Little, Kevin Harvick has driven that car straight into the top 10.
Well, he sure has. You know, DJ was just talking about how bad a team owner in the Busch Series, Richard Childress, wants to win. Well, Kevin Harvick wants to win just as bad for his own team. Right now, you're looking on your left side of your screen, Bobby Labonte. He's a part-time driver for Kevin Harvick, and if you remember back just a few races ago at Talladega, Bobby Labonte drove his 77 car to victory lane. Now, if you look just past him about 3 people, you'll see Curtis Davis. He's one of the young guns. He'll be in the car next weekend. So you ask why so many different drivers? They're going for Owners Championship, and they're going for the learning curve. You have a veteran in Bobby Labonte, and you have the young rookie in Curtis Davis. But right now, the team owner, Kevin Harvick, making a forge to the front in 8th position. Doc?
Thank you, Jamie. Kevin Harvick is now being shown in the 8th position, but who are they chasing? How about Carl Edwards, who's led 3 times for 93 laps? It's Edwards, Hamlin, Mears, Wimmer, and Casey Kane in the top 5. Back in just a moment.
I'm Carl Edwards. I've had a chance to do some acting stuff. The biggest one was the 24 episode. I got to be Jim Hill, Director of Homeland Security.
That's Jim Hill from Homeland.
Jim Hill, Homeland Security. Show me Kiefer Sutherland and John Cassar and the whole crew. Everybody was really cool, and I was amazed at the production.
She's little but strong. She's kind of wiry like a cat.
Sorry we missed her. Sounds like my type.
Mark Martin and I did a soap opera. That was pretty interesting. I can say that I've been on a soap opera longer than I've probably ever watched a soap opera. That was weird, you know, but it's really fun.
And with the fame, Edwards treasures every opportunity to get in the car. Not too long ago, substitute teaching, placing ads and trades just to get noticed. Sure is now as we check out our Castrol GTX lap leaders after 156 laps. Doc, here's the bad news. The driver leading the most laps has failed to win 2 of the last 9 races at Dover.
But it's going to take something today, guys. Anybody got anything for Carl Edwards here in the final 43 laps?
Yeah, I think Scott Wimmer does. I know he's got some ground to make up here, but he's moved up into 3rd place. He's got one of the fastest cars. He's got the fastest car on the racetrack right now. So with the caution, if he can close back up to Carl, he's got some for him.
Yeah, we've got a lot of cars out there struggling right now. As you look around the racetrack, there's just a lot of people that are having a difficult time keeping their cars off the wall and going in a straight line.
Speaking of keeping it off the wall, Casey Kane is just driving it for all it's worth. In fact, maybe driving a little more than what he had for racetrack. Watch this just a couple of laps ago.
Oh, yeah, he made some pretty good contact there. Just trying to get up there in that good groove, that high groove, and get some good momentum.
Yeah, you know, he did a great job because that looked like that was going to be a lot harder than that. And I know that it's probably messed his car up as it was, but looks like he was really going to slam the wall. And he slowed down quite a bit from what he was running. We have caution on the track. There's some debris. We've seen the 0 car slowing down quite a bit. I don't know if he's lost something, but we have caution here, and it's just what these guys are looking for with 40 laps to go.
Yeah, some debris on the racetrack, and now with 40 to go and it's going to really be interesting, the roll with the dice on pit road. Some of the crew chiefs were hoping for a caution flag. They said we have 1 set of tires left. Others not so sure if they got some fresh rubber or maybe bolt some other tires back on.
Yeah, they're going to have to come in and put something on. Even as good as Carl Edwards' car was right there, I'd say that he'll have to put tires on because we do know that there's some cars there that do have tires left. And, you know, you got the 21 car that Andy was talking about. He's moved himself up into 3rd place, and Casey Mears is up in 4th. north. So these guys have tires left, and it's going to be interesting to see what plays out.
And remember, the 21 car has the Jeff Burton pit crew now down there, the Holiday Inn pit crew. That's done such a great job getting Burton on and off pit road so well early today before Jeff had that cut tire and lost a couple laps. That could be a difference too here in what may be a final pit stop.
Yeah, this is going to do it for them right here. If they can maintain or gain a spot or two, they can put them in the catbird seat to win.
All right, Edwards the leader, Denny Hamlin second, Scott Wimmer, the 21 car, back in third position. Mears is fourth, Dave Blaney is fifth. Under this, the sixth caution flag of the day. And there are the crews poised and ready. They know what they've got to do. They've got to get Edwards on and off. Here is Kevin Harvick's bunch. They've got to get him on and off in less than 14 seconds. Can they do it? As we head down the pit road and Mike Massaro.
And Dave Blaney looking for his first top 10 finish since Phoenix 5 races ago. He'd like the car a little bit freer, so they're going to take a 4-tire change and 1 round out of the left rear. Jamie.
Kevin Harvick comes in position 8. He said he needs just a little bit. He's a little tight off the corner, so make a small adjustment. You see Curtis Davis actually helping the crew out, guys, waiting for his chance next week. Dave.
The green team pitting the black and white car, trying to keep Scott Wimmer in contention. He comes down pit road, giving up third position. No changes to this car. He's gone, Allen.
Time to try and hold that track position and maybe hold on to the win for the 60. Here comes the 21. Scott Wimmer's team is going to get it done.
14.1 seconds. What a move by Richard Childress to put that crew down for Scott Wimmer. They just may have won him the race. What a great job. Denny Hamlin gains a spot. Wimmer gains a spot. We have got one heck of a race remaining when we come back to Dover, Delaware.
Back at the Monster Mile, and Richard Childress Racing making the moves that wins races. And last year was total domination. A sweep at Dover in 2006. Burton winning this race in June. Boyer winning the race in September. Burton also took the Cup race. And last year, after winning this race, for Jeff, both of his series clicked. He ran off 4 top 5s in his 9 remaining Busch races. But, Doc, we've seen Richard Childress certainly knows his way around this track.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Susie. And in fact, the top 2 cars in this lead, Matt Kenseth and Marcus Ambrose, did not pit. They stayed on the racetrack. Denny Hamlin, Wimmer, Edwards, and all those 3rd, 4th, and 5th did come on the pit road as the green flag waves again. We have got a shootout at Dover, Delaware, the Monster Mile, with 36 laps to go.
This is going to be fun, but we see Denny Hamlin not wasting any time in going by Marcus Ambrose there.
Yeah, the 17 car is the car on the leader, Kenseth. Now Hamlin has gone by Ambrose. There's this leader 17 car. The 16 to Biff. Whoa, trouble out of turn 4. Big crash. Regan Smith involved. Here is the Rudeman in the Toyota.
You all right, Regan? Just go back to the pit road. Just go back.
The 18 of Conway.
To the garage, guys. Let's check it out. See what we got.
So a half a dozen cars involved, and the caution will come out for the 7th time here on lap 165. So we can see what happened here. Watch them coming off of turn 4. There's the contact there, the 18 and the 4.
Yeah, the 18 gets right in the left rear quarter panel of the 4, turns him sideways, turns him around, and then all these guys know where to go. That's what's so bad. We talked about this track, how it's got all the banking on the straightaway, and then you got these 2 walls so close together. There's just nowhere to go. It's almost like wrecking in a back alley.
Yeah, exactly. Because you all want to feed to the same place. We see Kevin Conway doesn't have a lot of experience here. It's hard to say, who's going where there. I mean, as Regan Smith, you're trying to get a run off of that corner, and so you're trying to drive straighter off, and Kevin Conway's car, being on the bottom, has to come up off the very bottom of it. So there's just contact made. We see again as it starts here. You got people back here that are trying to slow down. They see what's happening, and then Reed Sorensen got into the back of David Rudeman and David Gillen, and they come up through and got involved also.
So again, caution here on lap 159. 6 cars involved.
Slow down. Outside. Okay, go.
And there's Reed Sorensen walking away. Reed Sorensen involved, David Gillen, David Rudeman, Brent Sherman involved, of course, and the 18 car of Kevin Conway. You see Kevin walking away from his Joe Gibbs car, and they're trying to get David Gillen out of his car, which is there. Now he is out of the car, down against the inside wall. So under caution here, once again, the monster rears its ugly head here in the final laps at Dover, Delaware. 6 cars involved in a melee off of turn 4. Back with the green flag in a moment.
This ESPN telecast of the NASCAR Busch Series at Dover is available in high definition on ESPN 2 HD, presented by Vizio. Our 8th caution of the day, 33 laps to go, and we are under red as they clean the track. A mile of concrete as we welcome you back here in the pit studio. Susie Colber, Brad Daugherty. I thought you said this was self-cleaning with those steep banks.
Well, it's somewhat self-cleaning. Sometimes we have accidents we can't quite get cleaned up, but I'm going to tell you what, you better keep an eye on Scott Wimmer. He's coming. He's coming, Susie. I'm telling you, he's fast.
What do you think, as a former owner, what do you think of that move that Richard Childress made, switching crews to get Scott Wimmer out of it?
That takes a lot of guts, and he's going to have to explain to some guys when they get back to the shop, confidence-wise, on what he did. But it's going to give him the best chance to win this race. I applaud Richard Childress. That's why he's in the position he's in today, and they got a good chance to win this race.
Now, a little earlier, we got the explanation on rear clips from Tim Brewer, and as promised, now front clips. Tim?
Tell you what, Susie, when you're looking at the race car, you got a center subframe. We looked at the rear clip a while ago. Now from the firewall, which is a front firewall here where the engine location is, all of the suspension components, when we clip one, we'll cut everything off from the firewall and we'll go forward. And this front subframe right here will be all new stuff, all these roll bars replaced, all this stuff clean out to the front snout. And then at the end of the day, we can start all over again by rehanging the sheet metal on the car, taking it back to the wind tunnel, spending a lot more money on the thing, getting ready to go back to the racetrack. Back up to this booth.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. For more information on rear clips, front clips, or whatever you want to know, log on to ESPN.com, search word know-how. We'll explain how it happens in a NASCAR stock car. Well, we told you the 21 car of Scott Wimmer. It has been a tale of 2 halves of the race in terms of what's happened on pit road. The early pit stop where they had all the issues, top of your screen. The late pit stop, 14.1 seconds on the bottom of your screen. Different pit crews and different results. And boy, what a difference that made. Watch the celebration of the Holiday Inn guys. I think they're pumped up or what? Great job by Scott Wimmer's crew. And now he is being shown in 5th position. Now, we are under a red flag condition here at Dover Downs or Dover International Speedway, along with Andy Petrie and Dale Jarrett. I'm Jerry Punch. And DJ, we may want to explain to the fans at home, we still have 33 laps to race here. Why is NASCAR waving the red flag and stopping the car?
Yeah, I'm sure there are fans out there wondering. We stopped it a few minutes ago with 70-some laps left. But what happens here is these guys, as we've said, only have a certain number of tires that they're given for the weekend. Even though they were given an extra set here, NASCAR doesn't want to take the chance that they're riding around under caution with debris still out there, that one of these teams might run over some debris and cut down a tire, and then they're in a really bad position. So I have to applaud NASCAR for doing that. You know, it stops. The guys don't like sitting in the hot cars right now, I can assure you that, but they don't want to have a flat tire either. So kudos to NASCAR for doing this, and that's what this is all about. We have plenty of time to ride around under caution and could finish this, but this is a good opportunity to take that time and make sure that we get the racetrack completely clean.
And I want to ask you guys now, we have 33 laps to go. We're going to sit here for a while. Carl Edwards has been the Mac Daddy all day long in that Ford. You guys, so you've been watching. I know you've been strong in Scott Wimmer's corner. Can somebody handle him these final 30 laps?
Well, I really thought Scott Wimmer had the car to beat, and I still think he's got the car to beat. But I tell you, he's going to have to be more aggressive on these restarts. He's only got 33 laps to go right now, so when they go green, it's going to be right at 30 laps. He's going to have to get aggressive. And, you know, those guys in the pits, they just transferred the pressure out of the pits on the driver. It's time for the driver to get up on that wheel and see if he can get her done.
Well, there's Scott Wimmer, but the question is, what about Edwards, DJ?
Well, Carl Edwards has been strong all day long. I think you're going to have a hard time beating him. I think he's going to get to the front before this is over. I know Denny Hamlin has a good car, and Matt Kenseth's sitting out front right now. But I think Carl Edwards is still the guy that's going to be hard to beat. His car has been just flawless all day long. You know, they're making small air pressure and wedge adjustments, and when you have a car that good, you want to take advantage of those days. And Scott Wimmer's car, I've been on his side too. He's been awful good all day. His car's been better in the longer run, so it might not be what he needs to. You know, that might be because maybe they're running lower air pressure, and his car won't get going on the restarts quite as good as Carl and Denny Hamlin. So I don't know that we have enough laps left for him to make that move.
Yeah, with more on Carl Edwards, let's check in with the man who's been in his pits all day long, Alan Bestwick.
You know, Doc, I love when we can eavesdrop on these guys' radios, and sometimes we get that little crystalline look right into what the guy's thinking. Just before the last restart, after his team lost a couple of spots on the pit stop, Carl Edwards talking to his spotter and his crew chief about what he was thinking.
Just, I don't know if you're near the 21 and the 20, but got a pretty good car, and I mean business.
Before, they got spotters and scanners. They heard you.
Carl's crew chief, Pierre Cattell, responding. Carl passing the word up to his spotter, Jason Nedleski. If you're near the spotters of the 20 and the 21, I got a good car. Tell them I mean business. I love it.
All right, that's the kind of communication you hear. We'll get our crew chief, Andy Petrie's take on what he heard a moment ago when we come back as we get set to go green once again at Dover in a moment. Well, the 2007 NHRA season is a third of the way through, and the points races are hot as ever. This weekend, Topeka at the 19th Annual O'Reilly Summer Nationals. Qualifying is coming up following our race today. Then catch the final Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The Powerade Drag Racing Series only on ESPN2 and ESPN2 HD. And let's check in the garage where Mike and some of the others have caught up with some of the drivers involved in our latest caution flag.
And, Doc, lots of front-end damage to the 4 car. They've already replaced the radiator. They cut off the nose, and Regan Smith sits inside the car. Regan, what happened?
Just felt like I got clipped by a lap car there coming off the turn 4. You know, it's disappointing. We're probably going to end up coming around 7th or 8th, something like that. It's not quite as strong as what we have been the past couple weeks, but these guys will get the Guinness Road 7 back out there, and we'll keep hammering away trying to get some more points. But you know, just wish we would have got a little more respect from that coming off the 4.
Tough break for Regan Smith. Finished in the top 5 a week ago in Charlotte and was really hoping to build some momentum. Jamie?
Well, Mike, 2 other drivers that were involved in that as well. Reed Sorensen, 6 DNF this season, but you still have a smile on your face. Reed, what in the world happened, and how are you going to turn this luck around?
I'm not sure what happened. You have to ask a couple cars in front of me. I'm not sure. It looks like they just got together and we got collected in it, but it's not a big deal. I mean, this is just kind of the bad luck we've been having. We're on the lead lap. We're doing the best we could and could have got a top 15 out of it, but a couple guys got together. It's easy to do here, and we'll just get ready for tomorrow.
You got a little stuffed animal riding on board with them. Guys thought that luck was going to turn around, but not so much. Now to my right, David Gilliland. David, what happened from your perspective?
It looked like the 18 and another car got together, and you know, just it was on a restart there and got you know, sideways, and I thought I had him cleared, and then someone ran into me. So I mean, it all happened so fast. Just a shame. Our free credit report .com Ford Fusion wasn't as good as we'd like to say. We're just kind of, you know, trying to bring home a good finish, but too bad. Hate to end the day this way, but it's all part of racing.
This kind of heat this late in the race, how hard is it for you guys?
It's not bad. You know, I mean, in the car we got cool boxes, you know, for our helmets and stuff. It ain't bad.
All right, guys, that's David Gilliland. Good news is everybody checks out okay.
All right, getting set for the restart here. We've had 7 caution flags, and that last one involving 6 cars. The question is, Kenseth, who did not get tires, can he hang on for how many laps? And Denny Hamlin is there in the 20 car. Edwards has been the car to beat today. And, of course, everyone's thinking about Wimmer back in 5th spot, back to the right of your screen in that 21 car. Pace car pulls away. We're set for what should be a shootout here at Dover, Delaware. Let's listen in as we go full throttle.
All right, bud, be ready. Just be careful, Tim. Be ready.
Green, green.
Green, 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 green flag, green flag. After the McDonald's, the 35 or shoot Carly.
Clear high. Clear low, clear low.
It's about outside.
Clear by 21. Inside the 21. Clear, clear.
Clear.
Outside the 21.
77, just ran all over, boys.
Greg Biffle spins out of turn 4. He had just gotten one of his laps back as a lucky dog, and now the 2-time winner at Dover spins around to bring out the 8th caution flag.
Here, try to get her going. I'm not sure how this works.
And he gets it right in and heads back. None the worse for wear, but he will bring out the yellow hanky for the 8th time today.
I think we heard his crew chief say get it going and not sure how this works, but you can't bring out the caution and get the lucky dog, so I can tell him that much. You can't, he won't be able to get that. Greg had just been in the pits and gotten tires, and he didn't move quite as fast as Kevin Harvick did getting back to the throttle in that corner.
He was the only car 1 lap down.
Yeah, if he hadn't been involved in the caution, he would have been in line for the lucky dog.
You can't bring it out. Yeah,
but,
you can't.
But the rule says yes, you just can't bring it out and take advantage of it.
Details, guys. Come on.
Yeah. And I'm sure he would argue that, well, Kevin Harvick ran into me. That's what brought it out. I didn't really bring it out, but it was brought out because of his spin.
Well, it would be the lucky dog because I didn't cause it. I got spun out.
All right, Kevin Harvick into the back of Greg Biffle. Caution number 8 here at Dover, Delaware. We'll come back hopefully with a green flag in just a moment.
You know the day destroys the night.
Perfect timing. We go back to green flag racing. 25 laps to go. Matt Kenseth trying to hold him off, but he's got some hungry drivers. Here goes the 60 car. Looking to the outside. Now will fall back in behind Denny Hamlin for second spot.
Yeah, we heard Carl Edwards say he's got a fast car and he's not afraid to use it.
We know Denny Hamlin's had a fast car too all day, so he may have a little bit more difficulty there. But
tell you what, Matt Kenseth's getting going too. It's going to be hard for him to catch him.
You know, he's got a lot of laps on his tires. He hasn't been in the pit since like lap 118.
Yeah, his tires are 43 laps older. Here is the change for second spot as Carl Edwards goes by. Denny Hamlin for second spot. That 29 car, by the way, you're riding along here, the Holiday Inn Chevrolet. It is the car of Jeff Burton. He's being shown 2 laps down by virtue of the unscheduled pit stop. He's in 20th position.
Yeah, but Matt Kenseth just ran the fastest lap of the race for him on those old tires last lap.
I still think Carl Edwards is going to run him down here in just a minute and go by him because Carl's just been superior all day. I've been wrong once or twice already today, so I could be wrong again. But he just has such a fast car. But Matt's car, he just didn't look that good back in the back or when he was in 10th and 12th spot all day. He's doing a great job with it out front. You can see him working the steering wheel, so he's getting everything out of it that he can.
Yeah, he's going to have his hands full here in just a few laps with Carl Edwards because he's catching him for sure.
That last lap, Carl Edwards was actually 0.2 of a second quicker than Kenseth once he got around Hamlin. So Edwards is on the move. He's on the hunt. And how about Marcus Ambrose, the rookie driver, the 59 car? What an effort trying to hold off Scott Wimmer, the former winner here, as they are battling for 4th position. Let's check in with Dave.
And Doc, right before that green, Scott Wimmer's crew brokered deals with lap cars as we have a crash on the backstretch. That's Jason Keller, who was having such a great run, running in 13th, spinning around. But they brokered deals with lap cars. Scott said the problem I'm going to have is with that 59. He's running awful good, and I'm having a hard time. I think I'll have a hard time getting around him.
Yeah, that's too bad seeing Jason Keller get in that wreck because we were just talking about him at the break, how good he was doing up 13th.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Jason has
up on the right front. The road's open.
He's done a terrific job all day of staying out of trouble. And we see here as he come out of turn 2, gets a little bit of help.
Yeah, this didn't look like his fault, but still gets turned around and gets a little damage on his fender and front end. Maybe they can get in there and get him straightened out and still get a decent finish out of it.
Yeah, he stayed on the lead lap. He did a great job of not hitting anything as he was spinning there. Again, that doesn't happen very often here when you start spinning out. But maybe they've got some tires left. As we see from up above, 42 just gets a run on him and gets into the back of Jason Keller.
I tell you, we've seen a lot of that out of Montoya this year. He's very aggressive, especially after restarts.
One more look at the contact. Keller. Jason Keller making his 3rd start of the year, driven all the way up into 12th position before that tap by Juan Pablo Montoya. You see Rudeman going by on the high side.
Clear by 5. All clear. Keep digging, baby. Good job.
Yeah,
Good
that's
job.
something
Keep
that
going.
Juan Pablo is just going to have to understand and learn about this racetrack, because that is one of the very characteristics of this racetrack. As you come up out of the corner, your car wants to go out towards the wall, and you have to give that car, you either have to back off or give him a little bit more room. Unfortunately, it cost Jason Keller there, but I'm sure that Juan will keep that in the back of his mind for the rest of this race and then tomorrow.
He's just an aggressive driver. I tell you what, he's aggressive in everything he does. We played a golf tournament on Thursday when we came up here, and I looked over on one of the tees, and I saw him swing that golf club. I said, man, who is that? It was Pablo Montoya, and he's swinging that golf club just like he drives that car.
All right, for more on Jason Keller involved in this spin, let's check in with Dave.
And, of course, Jason had a few choice words about the aggressive driving of the 42 driver, but he kept it off the wall. And that's a good thing, Doc, because that's the museum piece for CJM Racing. That is chassis 01. That's their very first one, built in shop, and it's been running pretty well, and he didn't ding it up.
Yeah, they've got it kind of back in shape here. Looks like he might have, something he can still get a decent finish with.
Yeah, he did not lose a lap with that spin, so there are 18 cars on the lead lap, and Greg Biffle was the lucky dog. He was able to get, as gets back there is a look at Greg Biffle, as he was able to be the lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. Get one of his laps back, I should say, is in the 16 car.
Yeah, he does get back on the lead lap now. He's made up 2 laps. And now he's finally back on the lead lap with 18 laps to go.
He's got his wheels tightened up on it again, but the tires might be a little worse for the wear with that slide a while ago, but I'm sure that he's going to go as hard as he can right here and make up as many spots as possible.
Well, Matt Kenseth has tires that are 43 laps older than the guys that are chasing him. Can he hang on for the final 18 laps? Coming to the green, let's go full throttle.
Stage cars on, ready. Come on, let's go. Inside. Another one outside. Still there. Clear all around. Still there. 60 outside. Clear. All right, let's go get him.
Jeff Burton is 2 laps down, but he's racing like he's trying to get the win. He's trying to get a lap back. He was right alongside Kenseth, couldn't hang on the inside, and now Kenseth is right there now trying to fend off Carl Edwards.
Yeah, he gave it all he had right there, trying to get that one of those laps back. He's been fighting all day long trying to get those back. He'll probably move over and let these guys race for the win now.
Yeah, that's just an experienced driver there, doing everything that he can, but not impeding those guys in the front at all. As we see Carl Edwards doing everything that he can to try to get Matt Kenseth. Looks like Matt having a hard time keeping his car down right in the center of the corner, but he gets a really good run up off the corner.
There's two teammates going after it right here.
Just getting ready to remind you, these are Roush Fenway drivers. And a little bit of a bobble for Kenseth on the inside. Here comes Hamlin up high on the outside. They are 3 wide at Dover Downs, and that will not work for long, guys.
Wow, I'll tell you what, it sure was fun. Fun for us.
Inside again, onboard camera. Dish Network on board for Carl Edwards. Up to the door. Can he hang on entering the corner?
Well, he's not laying over for sure. He's racing him hard.
And he's going to have to get him cleared right here coming out of 4. And he is able to do that, just barely. But Matt Kenseth's coming back on the outside.
Kenseth trying, can he drive it deep in the corner? Edwards moves up the middle of the racetrack. Kenseth on the high groove.
Well, he did a smart thing there as a driver. He let his car drift up a little bit, and that made Matt go and use a little more racetrack up towards the top in the center of the corner, and that got Carl just the room that he needed to get himself a little breathing room here, and I think they'll have a hard time catching him now.
Well, here comes that 21 car, too. I saw him show up in the picture.
Scott Wimmer in the 21. You see the 59 being passed by Mears. That is for 5th position. The 10th is Dave Blaney. That is 7th. The 24th now is in the 5th spot. As you look back at the front of the Marcus Ambrose car number 59 in 5th. And behind him is Dave Blaney.
You know, we know Carl Edwards has done a great job, and we expect that from him, but Marcus Ambrose just done a fantastic job. As we go looking 3 wide again, this is incredible racing.
You guys said Scott Wimmer might have something left, and he's trying to mosey toward the front as he goes around Kenseth.
Yeah, his problem is his car just doesn't get going on the restart, and that gets him behind a little bit, as we can see now. You know, he may get Denny Hamlin for second here, but he's just going to run out of time. But we have a caution, so he might not be out of time.
He may not. May have something for him still.
Well, that'll make it an even 2 handfuls of cautions today. 10th caution of the afternoon with 10 laps to go. And that should set up quite a shootout here at Dover, Delaware.
This is going to be a single file restart also, so that may help out a little bit as we see Brad Keselowski, who had a great run. He's on the lead lap.
It's too bad.
Brad Keselowski was having the best run he has had this year in the MacTac Chevrolet. They had been shown up as high as 15th position. This team really sort of coming into its own here this weekend, and even though they had some troubles in that practice session and had to repair the car, they were very pleased with what they've been able to do here this weekend. Ronnie Griffith, Keith Coleman Racing, hoping to get a top 15 finish, and might have had a shot at it until, well, that may be an issue right there. That's part of a caliper that has come out of one of the cars, probably the 23 car, upon impact. We are under yellow for the 10th time today. The Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware, still hasn't been able to determine a winner. We've got 9 laps to go. Edwards hanging on up front. Back in just a moment.
NASCAR Busch Series at Dover is brought to you by Aaron's. With over 1,400 stores nationwide, everyone is a lucky dog at Aaron's. By Degree Men, more power than you need. One day you'll need it. And Lowe's, for all your home improvement needs. Lowe's, let's build something together. Back inside the pit studio should be the final restart. 10 cautions, 2 red flags. That's the first time that's happened all season, but not a big surprise when we're talking about the Monster Mile.
This is true, but we go to a single file restart right now, so it's going to be interesting. Marcus Ambrose has had a great day in the top 10 these last 50 laps or so, but Carl Edwards out front has a great race car. My man Scott Wimmer's coming. Hopefully he can get a jump on this restart, get past Denny Hamlin, and get up and get in front.
How about Carl Edwards? Ran into the wall in qualifying.
He's flying, man. He's got a fast hot rod, and so he's going to be tough to catch. But we've picked Scott Wimmer all day long. He's very quick. Let's see what he can do at the end of the race.
I don't know. I'm thinking Edwards. What do you think,
fast.
Doc?
He's fast.
All right, guys. Carl Edwards, a 2-time winner this year on both the previous concrete ovals at Bristol and Nashville. Denny Hamlin right behind him. Won in that car at Darlington just 3 weeks ago. But guys, Scott Wimmer, talking about being a hungry race car driver. Scott Wimmer's last win came, get this, July 26, 2003 at Pikes Peak. You think he wants to win one today pretty badly?
I don't think there's any doubt. And he's probably felt like all day that he had the car. He just was looking for a lot more green flag racing than what we've been able to see here in the last 60 laps of this race.
Now, DJ, you're a pretty good golfer off the racetrack here. You know, you like to play golf. You're a scratch golfer or 1 or 2 handicap, depending on how big your pencil is. You know, we had some fun here on Thursday. A lot of celebrities on hand, drivers, and even a couple of us broadcast types were there to support the kids. It was a golf tournament to raise money for autism research. There's Andy Petrie hitting another 12-foot drive.
Good shot of the day. Y'all missed it.
There's our... And we had Bobby Labonte, drivers, celebrities. Elliott Sadler, can he ever bring it? And watch this putt. Whoa, how about that? Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Tiger Woods, you got nothing to worry about. We had some fun there.
I'll tell you what, though, Doc, you can flip out your phone there and say, hey, I might need it again. It did bring home the trophy.
Yeah, we
but we had a little problem right
here. Yeah, we had some fun there. Yeah, those guys behind me there.
You did that for the camera,
the Texaco Haviland guys won the championship, won that tournament by going 16 under, but it was all for a great cause, raising over $450,000 for autism research. What a good afternoon here by all these NASCAR drivers and celebrities giving back to the community.
Okay, now we got to get 2 things straight before we go back, because we know we're going to have a great finish here, but 2 things. I'm not a scratch golfer or 1 or 2 handicap. I love to play the game. It's a blast. Elliott Sadler can kill the golf ball. He's a lot of fun to play with. And now let's talk about the last
Jerry
6
can
laps
too if he ever hits it.
Yeah, every now and then I'll hit it. No, I miss it too. All right, guys. Lots of action here. Of course, coming up next, the O'Reilly NHRA Summer Nationals qualifying from Topeka. That'll be coming up at the conclusion of our NASCAR Busch Series event here. 6 laps to go. Carl Edwards has been the man. He is the points leader, a 2-time winner. He has led the most laps today, 115 laps. Can he hang on? Denny Hamlin wants it, and Scott Wimmer really wants this one in a bad way for Richard Childress Racing. Pace car pulls off. Here we go.
A single file restart, this certainly benefits Carl being the leader. He doesn't have to worry about anybody on the inside trying to get a lap back.
Boys got to get up on the wheel if they want to get him.
And he's doing a lot of blocking of Denny Hamlin getting down into turn 1. Scott Wimmer is going to look to the outside or just try to get him a good run off of that corner and maybe take advantage of that race going on there.
Here comes Wimmer on the inside of Denny Hamlin in turn 3.
hard thing is making it stick right there as he tries to get up off the corner.
5 laps to go, and Wimmer couldn't get it to stick, DJ. He'll have to try it again.
You know, Scott Wimmer laid back a little bit and let his car go up the hill down in turns 1 and 2 and got a really good run down the backstretch, as he's doing here once again. But when you get down to that point, you're trying to carry that momentum. You're trying to get back to the throttle, but you need all the racetrack to really make that work. And Denny Hamlin's getting a better run off the corner.
Yeah, Carl Edwards loving this. These guys racing each other really hard. He's able to get out in front of them.
And look out, guys. Here comes Casey Mears in the National Guard Chevy. He is pulled to right behind Scott Wimmer, watching these guys battle for a second. Now Mears would have said, let me make it a 3-way battle.
Yeah, I think we've talked about him every Busch race that I've been a part of up here with this crew. It's been, they have a really good team, and Casey is doing a terrific job. And obviously, last weekend was just a phenomenal weekend for him, and finishing second in the Busch race and then winning the Coca-Cola 600.
And here he is peaking at the right time, right at the end of the race.
Hamlin trying to hold on. Here's Wimmer again looking to the inside. Wimmer's been awfully good entering turn 3. Can he dive it in there? Picks the throttle back up, and again, Denny Hamlin holds that high line.
White flag.
Yeah, Scott Wimmer's going to give it one more try here, and he might hold the throttle down a little bit longer this time. But we've got caution.
Final lap, white flag has already been waving, so it will come down to the checkered flag as the caution is out. And the
Carl Edwards has won the race for sure.
Yeah,
Do we want it? Yeah, we want it. Great job, Carl. Fantastic job. Good job, everybody.
We've had a big wreck with Greg Biffle and Ward Burton. 2 of the cars that I can see.
Yeah, once the white flag waves, they freeze the field, and so they come down, and Carl Edwards picks up his 3rd win of 2007 in a rather dominating fashion, leading 121 laps. Let's check down where Dave is caught up with his crew chief, PK.
Pierre Cattell has crew chiefed another victory for Carl Edwards, but on pit road it almost went away, but you had the best car.
Yeah, we had a really good car. The Disc Network Ford was just had it going on today. The guys had a little bit of a hiccup on that last stop on the right side, and Carl made it up.
How did you guys get the car so right for today? Was it great all weekend in practice?
Yeah, we were really happy with the car. We unloaded pretty good with it and ran that first practice. It was just kind of tweaked on a little bit here and there, and got it pretty good.
Theirs to lose. They didn't do it. They won. Pierre Cattell, Carl Edwards, victors here at Dover.
Carl Edwards picking up his 3rd win of the year. Let's show you this crash. It was here in the final laps down in turn 1. The 16 car Biffle goes around, and there's Greg getting out after a pretty hard lick here. It has not been the kind of day he will want to remember after losing 2 laps for a cut tire. But there is the points leader and winner here at Dover International Speedway, Carl Edwards, and he takes the backflip, his signature flip, and the crowd certainly does approve of the big smile from Carl Edwards.
I got 100% on the concrete tracks.
Yeah, I thought maybe with the banking there, he might do a double. He had a little bit of help with that banking. Yeah, great job today. Just a dominant car all day long, and obviously he did a terrific job.
Yeah, he made it count. He said he had a good car, and he made it count.
All right, let's check in where Jamie is caught up with Denny Hamlin.
What a hard-fought battle there. Denny Hamlin was the pole sitter, 3rd pole of the year. Denny, you're smiling now. Take us through some of those battles, especially with Carl Edwards in the last pass.
Yeah, it's fun. When you can battle like that and know the guys around you that you're racing are going to drive you clean, that's a great feeling. The whole Rockwell Automation team did a great job in the pit area. Give me the track position to do it, but just didn't have the car today.
3 wide on a 1-mile oval, guys. Unbelievable, Doc.
Great job. And speaking of great jobs, we want to say thank you to our buddy Dale Jarrett, who's been subbing for Rusty Wallace while Rusty's been up in Indianapolis doing some open wheel work. And we'll have Rusty coming back next week at Nashville, Tennessee. DJ, you'll be back in a few weeks, but great job, and thanks for coming in and subbing as an announcer while you're still a full-time driver in that Toyota.
Well, thanks for having me here. I've had a blast. This is just a great opportunity to look at the races from a different perspective, and I've enjoyed it. Thanks, Rusty, for taking a little bit of time off, and he did a great job. I watched a lot of Indy stuff, and he did a great job, and so be looking forward forward to watching him come back. But I will be back in a few weeks, so I enjoy doing this. It's great to be able to have this happen on Saturdays and working with you guys.
Well, he starts 22nd tomorrow in the UPS Toyota, and good to have DJ with us. We get our buddy Rusty coming back in Nashville next week. And speaking of next week, the action continues. We return to Tennessee for the NASCAR Busch Series at Nashville. Of course, that should be a great one as we get the green flag at 6:30 Eastern Time next Saturday evening. Let's check in, I think, where Mike is caught up with another good finishing driver today.
And Scott Wimmer, all smiles. Third place, his best finish of the year. But the question is, did you get everything you could?
Well, we did. We were really good on the long runs, and we definitely didn't need those little short runs at the end. But last run in AutoZone car to come home third, we had, I think, a good shot of winning it. But excited. Not bad for a part-time driver. So I like racing, and I get to go 5 straight now, so maybe we'll get a win there.
That's right now, and he gets to go to Nashville next week, which is the site of his previous best, the 7th place finish when we were there earlier in the year. Alan?
Here he comes. Carl Edwards' third win of this season. Congratulations. First, let's back up to what was the pass for the win. The racing with Matt Kenseth on that, well, I won't call it the last restart, but the last pass anyway.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth did an unbelievable job in that Arby's Fusion with no tires. I mean, I couldn't believe how fast he was. He's one of the greatest drivers there is. So it was really awesome to get to race with him. And Rich Woodland helped us spot Bobby Hudson and Jason Hidletsky couldn't be here. And he said 3 wide, and I thought, man, this might not turn out all right, but thanks to Dish Network, Office Depot, Coca-Cola, the sailors on the USS Enterprise. Thanks for having us this week, and Back 40 Records, everybody. To win at Dover is a driver's dream.
You've had a great car. I know you love this racetrack, but you had to race really hard at the end. The last restart with Denny Hamlin, he was pressuring you hard. What were you thinking?
Denny's real good at restarts, and I was having trouble with mine. And I'm just glad he didn't wreck me. He could have really, worked me over there. And we had such a great car. It was nice for him to give me a little bit of space, but he did a great job. It was just a fun race. I mean, that was a blast. And my pit crew did awesome, except for that last stop. We had a little bit of trouble, but we're all in this together. We win together and we lose together, and it worked out today.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Carl Edwards, winner today here at Dover.
Carl Edwards, third win of the year. Guys, some final thoughts about the race we saw here at Dover International Speedway today.
Well, I'll tell you what, these other guys, they threw everything they had at Carl Edwards to try to beat him. Richard Childress threw 2 pit crews at him. These guys threw everything they could on these restarts, and they just couldn't beat him.
They went 3 wide later to try to make him get out of the throttle, and he couldn't even make him get out of the throttle then. So congratulations to Carl. A terrific race once again here at Dover, as we always see.
Well, for Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Jerry Punch, once again congratulating Carl Edwards on his win at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware today. We invite you to join us next week as we head to Music City, USA, the capital of country music, Nashville Super Speedway, the 103rd mile, live coverage 6:30 Eastern Time next Saturday night. Coming up next, NHRA qualifying from Topeka. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Once again, Carl Edwards flips it and does a great job. He is a winner today at Dover, Delaware.